Hi, folks. Arsenal Fan Circle. We are live Sunday. It's the Sunday show. Pull up a chair. Come on in. You're all welcome here. You're all family. Um, got a couple other coming in. Maybe Sam is joining us, and Mahir should be joining us as well. But we do have four of us here. Myself, Ray, Tony, right there. Hi, Tony.
Yep.
Alonzo,
Hey guys.
and Gary.
Hello.
So listen, not a lot happening today, right, Gary?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
no real
Nothing
news.
Arsenal related happening.
Nothing Arsenal related happening. No, actually, no football today. Football tomorrow. But with Arsenal, a lot of things been happening, and Mesut Ozil and the club, Tony, have agreed to part ways.
Yay.
Well, you could fill out a little bit more. Give us a little bit more context there.
He's getting basically what he's get paid anyway. It's go away in June. He's doing that, so nothing to get excited about.
So the club is really not saving much money.
Maybe a few 100,000, not much.
Okay, but Alonso, something that probably needed to happen moving forward. He wasn't getting into the team. We're going to probably talk around the reasons why. Nobody's really going to know. Ozil will probably speak at some point about it. But I know you were probably the biggest fan of Ozil for the longest time that he's been with Arsenal for 7 years. There are three of us. We kind of lost faith over the years. And we'll speak about that to varying degrees, but want to get you in there, Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, good riddance. I think that it was time for him to go, but at the same time, there was a little faith that we had that, since restart, that he would play more and hopefully, be his old self. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. And I personally wish him the best. I don't hate Ozil. I think that he was obligated to contract, and maybe his agent wanted more money for himself. But in the end of the day, he was still an Arsenal player, and we had to respect that. We had to kind of be thankful for the time he was here and the good things he did for us. And unfortunately, like the past year and a half, was really not a good time for him. So, and as fans as well, because we wanted him to play like the old O's were the past, but unfortunately it didn't happen and it didn't work out. So, I hope he does well for Nabashi. I really do, and I hope that his career isn't over. Unfortunately, it's over for Arsenal, and we have to move on from that now.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary, seven years at the club, Mesut Ozil, 2013 to 2020, and I'm charting the project. I'm charting the years that he was here. We were trying to get over a 9-year hump of winning a trophy. We had other players in the team. I want to say that first and foremost, but he did help the team win the 2014 FA Cup, followed up by 2015 another FA Cup. So and then in 2017, but I really believe in 2017, 2018 was a watershed moment for the club where we could have done things differently. And the last couple of years have just been pretty toxic between the club and the player itself.
Yeah, you pretty much explained it right there. I mean, I'm not upset with Ozil that much because I feel like this was a two-way street. I mean, maybe even a three-way street if you count the fans. But Arsenal, Ozil, and some would say the fans basically had a lot to do with kind of how this thing all panned out. He did what he needed to do when he first got here. And yeah, can you tie it to the contract, or can you tie it to a lot of things that changed once he got that contract because certain players weren't around and all of that. But everything basically didn't work out for Arsenal. Just like it kind of didn't this season. So this is a happy departure, I would think, for both parties. The team didn't want him anymore and couldn't figure out a way to get him off of their books or at least get him out of the building. That's on Arsenal. Arsenal let they let down the process, right? Hello, Mahir.
Mahir, what's up?
Yo,
Happy.
what's good?
Yeah. But the fact that he's gone, it hasn't really changed much, right? They were going to spend that money anyways, worst case. So the fact that they're spending that money, that doesn't change anything. He's out of the building. That might be the biggest plus that we got, because that may be causing, a little bit of a continuity, team unity type issue. So, hopefully he's gone. But then I did see a report that said he's still going to re-up on his box seats. Why?
So you
Why?
can come back and watch Arsenal.
Is that
right?
is that just to pay Arsenal back somehow? Is he going to pay double for those box seats or something to give us the money back? I mean, I don't. If that's what he wants to do with his money, that's cool. But it just seems kind of strange, especially if he's going back to his, the team that he wanted to go back and finish off his career with. So seems like they're kind of
seats for this year sitting up there.
Yeah. You can't even use them, right? So maybe that's the problem. He would have used them if he could have sat in the stadium. But it's a happy exit, I believe, and we can move on. Like we don't have to worry about answering those questions anymore, and we shouldn't have to. He's not a part of our team anymore. Let Fenerbahce manager, coach, owner, all of them decide. Kind of talk about him going forward. I think, like I said, I think the only thing that happened is that he's not in the locker room anymore. So, hopefully that's a good. Hopefully, that's a good thing in terms of, like I said, the team.
Yeah, this is a deal done out of convenience, I believe, both for the player and for the club. It was toxic. Ozil wasn't going to play between now and the summertime. Whether you agree with that or disagree with it, that was the facts that the club had become disinterested in the player. The player had become a media entity against the club, for the club, commenting when we were winning, commenting when we were losing. It became a distraction. Well, I want to get in with Mahir here and get your initial thoughts about Mesut Ozil, and we also probably pictures of them, he and his wife and family boarding the plane to leave England, and they're probably in the air as we speak right now.
I would have to pack his bags.
Are you tracking you can track the flight, Tony, for us?
Man, I would have packed his bags for him.
You and Mahir would have done that.
Yep.
Firstly, a nice song. We've burned Ozil, Mesut Ozil. I just don't think you understand. He's Fenerbahce's man, not worth 300 grand. We've burned Mesut Ozil.
All right, Mahir, you got to come up with an original song, okay?
Sorry, it made the guys laugh, and hey, I just found it hilarious because he's not even worth 200 grand. On his legacy, has he got a legacy? Hey, Tony?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
not worth 300 grand.
Nope, not worth 200 grand. Maybe 150, pushing it. But anyway, I was going to say to his good evening to everybody. Alex, shout out to all the subscribers in the building. You guys all breathe oxygen. Thank you very much for being with us again on the Arsenal Fan Circle. On his legacy, however, I do not feel he has a bigger legacy in terms of as a player overall at Arsenal. As much as people are saying he's one of the biggest players in the Emirates time, but
yeah,
definitely
the biggest following, right?
In high regard.
He's got a bigger following than Arsenal does.
I don't care about following. I don't care. No,
we are not Arsenal marketing club. We are Arsenal Football Club. If you want to talk about marketing and clicks and subscribers and viewers and fan base and all that kind of stuff that had those numbers.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
then that's for you. But I don't. We're a football club, and we talk football. We're all about the football first, and then everything else second. All right. Sorry to interrupt, but
Daddy, I
those numbers, like you said, those numbers mean nothing to us.
They mean absolutely bugger all. That's what I was saying. I hold players like Aaron Ramsey, Santi Gazzola, even the Koscielnys. Well, I don't know about Koscielny, sorry. But like Santi, Ramsey, those type of players were Arsenal players. And as much as we'd hate to admit, I mean, even somebody like who was fighting for us, like Alexis. Now, I don't see him. They say he played a big part in the FA Cup wins. No, Aaron Ramsey played a bigger part. Santi was in there as well. I mean, there's another 2-3 players. I mean, jeez, man.
I would put Koscielny in there because he scores important goals. And even though he messed up sometimes, I mean, he still made it right. He made it right, and I think he deserves just as much praise as Ramsey and Cazorla, because he showed up.
And I think we're going to have some people that are Fenerbahce supporters. We've got some in the comments section already. So, welcome in. You are getting a son back home, Turkey, right, Gary? I mean, you got to think of it from Fenerbahce's side as well. They've got a player coming to them that's going to help them in their league and what they need to do. He will need help in midfield. Mesut Ozil is the kind of player who does need help in midfield, but he will help them going forward.
Help them make money.
Look,
I mean, I hope he does enjoy his football because he wasn't enjoying it with us. And I think they are probably more suited to gear their team around him than we are. We can't afford to do that because I think our league's a little bit is a tougher league, I believe. So with that comes the responsibilities of the players and the structure that you have in place. And him leaving, he wasn't able to help the team the way it needed to be. Helped. I mean, that's kind of what we saw, and that's kind of why, multiple managers just couldn't play him in their system because they needed a lot more from their players. So, I'm hoping. I hope he has a good time, in Turkey, because he definitely didn't have it here the way he would have liked it. But I think, and the same could be true for Arsenal. Hopefully, Arsenal, can play. Doesn't have to worry about those discussions anymore and can work on their football a lot more. So,
Mesut Ozil, if you think of it again as a Fenerbahce supporter, Mesut Ozil went to the German league, played for a couple of clubs there, did really, really well. Went to Real Madrid, became a Galactico, and been at Arsenal for a number of years now. So, from their point of view, it is a son coming home to them, and they're fanatical supporters out there. So, we do wish him all the best in whatever he's going to do for the remainder of his career. And but we did have a few players at the Emirates as well. Ozil, Robin van Persie, Alexis, Cazorla was a big one, Fabregas as well. And, we wish him well. But we're going to go back through all of the years and talk about sort of how it affected Arsenal. Going right back to 2013. So, Tony, Arsene Wenger does a madness in 2013. He brings in Mesut Ozil, and I think all of us should maybe hold our hands up and say we were excited about the acquisition of Mesut Ozil in 2013. You can't shake your head and say you were not excited about Mesut Ozil joining Arsenal in 2013, Tony.
Yes, I can.
Seriously, you were not excited about Mesut Ozil at Galactico coming from Real Madrid to Arsenal?
That's a question I have from a panel. What was the last player besides Party that you're excited about coming to Arsenal?
Where?
What player were you last excited about besides Party coming to Arsenal?
Is this a question in the comments?
No, it's a question for me.
To me, from you to me.
To everyone, to all of us.
What's the question?
What player were you last excited about coming to Arsenal besides Party that we signed before they came here?
Well, Pepe.
B-Lock, is that for me?
Pepe, Aubameyang.
You said the last one, yeah. I mean, Pepe would be the last one. I mean, we expected some big things from him, right? That's what I mean. Everybody did, you know. Once they saw the tape, right? Like anything else, I mean, probably not many people knew about Partey until they saw it, and then saw some of the good tape that's out there. So, yeah. I mean, so the last one, yeah, would be Pepe, but Pepe, and then before that, Ozil. You know. I mean, think about it. Even when Santi Cazorla came in, it was like, oh, we're picking up, one of their reserves, right? I mean, you're picking up reserves, and he comes in and he's starring for us. It's like this guy can't get a starting position at Barcelona, right? I think that's where he came from, right? And then he shows up. So you never know what you're gonna get. We get all these big time players. They come in, they don't perform. We get some of these players that have been sitting on the sidelines watching it. They come in and they provide for us. So I think, yeah.
We got a comment here from Canberk Baskan. I'm from Turkey. What happened in London after the Mesut transfer? We will settle in. It's going to be an hour and a half. We'll tell you all about it. The best part of an hour. We'll cover 7 years.
So whenever Tony asked that question, I thought about whenever Thomas Vermaelen signed with Arsenal, he came from Ajax, right? So that was exciting for me, because he came out with so much promise, right? And he played really well at Ajax in the Eredivisie. So maybe that was also a good signing for us and for me. And he came in pretty good too. And I think it was Ozil. I remember when he signed for Arsenal, and I was off in time for work, and I saw Sky Sports announce it, and of course London went crazy, right? So,
Let's get through a few comments here. Let's stay on track with Ozil for a few years here. The assembled. I heard him being praised for his charity work. George Weah became president and changed the laws to make people tougher. If you throw money at a problem, it doesn't mean you improved it. Ryan said Arsenal going to be so much regret. I don't think we're going to regret it. We're going to be freed up in terms of wages, Ryan, and we will be able to move forward and revitalize the team. The wages we're paying Ozil will definitely pay two and a half players. Darren, at the same time, we have some great new, fresh players now. So exactly, that's what Darren's saying. We're in a situation where our older players are not performing, and we have younger players, so they're going to come through, and we need to support them. Stan is here. Thanks for joining, Stan. When Fenerbahce fans see how lazy he is and not wanting to track back, they'll rip him a new one. I think Stan, the coach and manager, will demand the rest of the players will work for Ozil in that situation, and he'll be probably treated like a god out there. Matt here.
I just wanted to say on the point that I last brought up, the only regret that I would see with Ozil is that we didn't have somebody behind him so he could shine after that 2 years that he was on form, because he was absolutely unplayable, like Alonso said, for 2 years. And I'm sure Gary and Tony would agree, like for 2 years he was on fire. And then after that was the massive decline, all these arguments on and off the pitch, wage cuts and et cetera, and that just further increased the decline very more. If we only had a player behind him that would have allowed him to express himself in the fullest, not have to track back, somebody like Tom.
I think I said it when Stan was hosting that one of the last shows. I said it myself. Arsene Wenger indulged Mesut Ozil so much that Mesut Ozil was able to get out of certain games. And actually, Arsene Wenger did not help Mesut Ozil, because in that faded season where we were going to go and win the league, if we'd had strengthened other than Peter Cech, 10 million for one goalkeeper, which didn't work out very well. If we went in just a little bit more, even in January, we relied on Giroud. Mesut Ozil was having a good season with a lot of assists. We relied on Giroud and Alexis Sanchez, and we let Leicester take that league from us. Really, I mean,
we needed one.
Poor result after poor result after poor result.
I mean,
Gary's itching to jump in.
No, I mean that season that you talk about, the Leicester season. I mean, we were 10 points behind them, and we lost twice.
Not in February, we weren't.
But we lost 2 games out of the last 15. I think the first half of that season pretty much is what it looked like. The end of the season maybe hurt us, but when you only lose twice in the last 15 matches you play, third of the season. You hope to make a move, and we just were too far back to catch up to them. I think. I mean, there were a lot of draws in there, but
we drew 4 successive games after we beat them on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
and we were top. We were top of the league on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Just 3 in a draw. Just 3 in a draw. If you think about it like that.
Yeah. No, you think about it like that, but yeah, I mean, those are margins, and based on the structure and the process that the team had in place. We just didn't have, that was, probably the last. That's as close as we're going to get for a while, based on what happened. But because the team management has just been poor since then, right? All of those things we talk about, we're still seeing them today. So we'll get into that later. But the same reasons why we're struggling today, the same reasons why things didn't work out for us in the past, all right? During that season, especially, yeah.
AD, thanks for joining us. I think you're a new face around here. We got a couple of new faces around here. 13-14 we lost but the league by 7 points. And we finished in 4th place to City on 79 points. And 13-14, that was the last time we got 79 points. Ever since then, we haven't hit 79 points at Arsenal. Ozil got injured for 2-3 months. He played 22 games, and before he got injured, we were first in the league. That season, we spent first, the most in the league. And true. So really what we're saying is Ozil was very, very good for a couple of seasons. I want to see if Sam or Alonso ready to jump in. We had a very, very good player who was producing assists for us in those couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, and when he came on, first season, he was hurt as well for a little bit, and it took him a while to get adjusted to the Arsenal system. But still, he made the best out of those 2-3 years. And that year that he broke the record, I think, for most assists in consecutive games, was just pretty cool, And you really thought that he will only improve on that, and be better. But that was the best season, so it kind of sucked because you were supposed to do more, and it wasn't there. And you could say, well, we don't have the great strikers we had before, but it was just a shame, really, to see a player decline after his best year at Arsenal, essentially. So yeah, it was a bummer. But
with this comment down here, I want to get Sam in. With this comment, the Assemble said, right, it appeared to be a brilliant signing, but we didn't know the baggage Ozil came with. And, having a coach that believes in you is one thing, but having a coach who panders to your every need is a completely different thing, Sam. And we saw a lot of that with Arsene Wenger. We saw quizzes where Aaron Ramsey would say, who was the teacher's pet? Mesut Ozil was teacher's pet, Sam.
Yeah, Wenger coddled him, didn't he? And like he did many of our other players. It was a very easygoing, environment at Arsenal. No one could really shout at each other or, have a go at each other or criticise each other. It was all very easygoing and, it made life very easy for Ozil. Made him the star boy who really couldn't do anything wrong, and Wenger loved him, and it was what it was, wasn't it? I mean, we, like you say, we got at least two good seasons out of him. He was our first big name, big money signing since we moved to the Emirates. So yeah, we were all very exciting. We were all very excited when he signed, and yeah, like you said, we got 2 good seasons out of him. But then he started to decline, and I think it's not just with him declining. I think football moved on as well. I mean, football changed during that time as well. There's a transition where football moved from possession-based tiki-taka football to to that high press, gegenpress from Germany. That where every player off the ball also has important tasks defensively. To press, work really hard, be in certain positions at all times. And Ozil just didn't suit that. And also, what he went through there with the German national team as well, when all that happened as well, that seemed to break him mentally as well. So he just wasn't the same player after that, And I think, as I said, just football moved on, and he hasn't been able to take part in that. Like, Mahir said here that he needed 1 or 2 players around him to give him the ball and work and give him the ball, because he was a luxury player, right? I mean, he wasn't working hard. His job was to get the ball and do something with it. But when he didn't have the ball, he wasn't really working that hard. So he had to have 1 or 2 players around him working hard with him to give him the ball. And football's just moved on from that type of football. The traditional number 10, it doesn't really exist anymore as it used to. It's a false 9 or an attacking midfielder that's able to press and do a pressing job off the ball. And now, football's moved on, and Ozil couldn't do that. Ozil didn't have the attitude or the capacity to do that, and that's why Arteta didn't want to use him. That's my opinion. Some people are talking about bonus money and things like that. I don't think it's to do with that. I just think it's that when we saw him play those last games he played for Arsenal, he looked very mediocre, and he just looked like he couldn't be bothered. And then it's like, if you want, and Arteta wants everyone to give 110%, 150%, you can't have someone like that who's just he's just a passenger. It just doesn't work, and I think he pisses everyone off. So unfortunately, just time moved on with him, and instead of doing the right thing as a football player, if he was a dedicated football player, what he should have done is said, right, okay, I'm no longer wanted at Arsenal. I want to move on and play football somewhere else and get that sorted. Whether you have to take a small pay cut or sort it out somewhere. If you want to play football, that's what you do. But no, he decided to stay at Arsenal knowing he wasn't needed or not wanted, and just did a classic, what's his name, Winston Bogart from Chelsea, and just stayed to get a payday. And to me that is what started to grate Arsenal fans and turn people the other way, was seeing that attitude. Is that poor, very, very the attitude where it's obviously it's not about the football and about the club, it's about him. And that's what grated Arsenal fans and turned most Arsenal fans, away from him.
Sam, he was never that durable of a player, and coming to the Premier League, he had to adjust to a more physical league, and that was never something he seemed to adapt to. He was able to withstand the tackle, but he was not able to play every game of every season, let's say.
No, true. It's true.
Mark Darby said Ozil was a player who was completely gassed about Tony before the apartheid deal. No question about it, lads. And I don't know. Only Tony knows if he was gassed or not in 2013 when Mesut Ozil arrived. Mahir, what was your feeling when we signed Mesut Ozil on the last day of the transfer window of 2013?
Deadline day signing of Ozil was very exciting. I don't know about myself, whether I was a super gassed, like I was super gassed about Thomas Partey, Aubameyang signing. But like apparently the whole structure was about to change. Everything was about to change. All the mentality of, we've finally signed a world-class player to build on. From him, you go and get the likes of an Aubameyang and an Alexis and build a core, a strong world-class core, from the midfield up to the attacking force in front. But it was supposed to change, and there was a lot of promises made, and it was literally all talk and no action. Like we've discussed before, guys. We've said all you needed to do was sign a player from 50 mil and down. And I'm sure one player every season, every window, just one player.
Yeah.
Don't buy
Well,
Louis.
certainly something. We get Mesut Ozil that year. The next year we get Alexis Sanchez. We think we're going places. The following season we only get Peter Cech. So the checkbook is being diminished at that point in time. Ray Anderson said he has played for us from last March, and we won another FA Cup. I don't think in Mesut Ozil we can say that he won the FA Cup for us in 2020 of last year. It's questionable. If you look back, Ray, although he did contribute to the other 3 FA Cups, he did not create one goal or he did not have one assist, Gary. In 3 FA Cup finals, Mesut Ozil, whilst he was on the field and knitted the play together, he didn't have any critical stats in those 3 FA Cup finals.
Yeah, man, a lot of the players that we think about aren't Ozil, right? When we talk about those FA Cups, there are a lot of plays made, and his name doesn't come up as much as you would think it should. I mean, we looked at when we were talking about the youth on the team and kind of where they are. I don't know about that, Stan. I mean, I think I think that's a stretch. I believe.
I can see where Stan's coming from because after 2 or 3 seasons, Gary, you start to see Mesut Ozil playing away from home, playing in bigger games and being edged out of games and not having an impact that we need.
You know what? I'm going to go. It's got it. I mean, there's players, but then it's also the manager and the coach that's involved in creating that situation. I mean, come on. I mean, it's got to be them as well. I like I said, I think this is at least a 2-way street as far as his career and how it went. He had something to do with it, and I think Arsenal has something to do with it as well. I mean, we can criticize the players all we want, but a lot of times the team lets either you're coaching it or you're letting it happen. I say that all the time.
Poor
right?
management.
And I think you're letting it happen. He shouldn't have any more control over Arsenal than as he does now, and he does, right? That's on the team. The team let that happen. They gave up the reins and said, "Here, we're not going to deal with this the way we're supposed to." When we talked about Wenger and how he kind of helped the players along, this is what you get when it goes a little too far, right? I mean, you help your players out, which sounds good, but you think about the players, all the players that he helped, they never could give him 100% because they were they were injured all the time, and then now we're like, you know what? If you're injured all the time, you got to go because we can't afford you anymore. When the money was good, that was fine. Money's not good anymore, right? We got to be a lot more efficient with our money, because we're getting burned every time we look around and we do something, something wrong, do a bad deal or we don't make the change when we're supposed to. It just comes back to haunt us every time.
William 3-year deal, not getting Saliba in the squad, spending 30 mil on that. Who's the other one? William Louis gets a new deal. Rob Holding gets a new deal, not good enough. Very debatable.
So,
it's a big debate.
Just before I go, remember when I brought up the youth is we talked about when players hit their peak, right? We say it's in between that. Some say it's between 22 and 28 years old where they kind of are at their best, right? And then they have to kind of reinvent themselves as they get older, stuff like that. We got him at the end of, towards the end of that reign where he was at his top, right? He was averaging double figures in assists pretty much every year. Outside of the injuries that he had that kind of, curtailed that in one of the middle years there. He pretty much gave us 10. And as soon as he hit that 28, 29 period, that's when things started to drop off. And that's when I guess, we had new managers come in who had different thoughts of how football should be played. And he just didn't fit in. And he didn't want to change. I mean, that's another thing. You look at a lot of players as they get older, they have to reinvent themselves, right? They have to do something a little bit different to fit into the new schemes or the new roles that are required of play. The way football changes, or they go back to a league where it suits them, right? He didn't want to do that, and he didn't want to change.
We've seen James Milner. He's doing a job now at Liverpool. Jordan Henderson's getting older, stepping back into a central defensive position for Liverpool.
But
These are
that's
players.
out of a necessity. That's not what they would want. That's a necessity move.
No, but he has
Hendo.
the skill. He has the skill set to play in that position and the experience to marshal a defense and get a clean sheet today.
That's a captain, right?
That's a captain.
That's what we're missing. We're missing a captain that we can put anywhere on the field, and guess what? It doesn't matter. Put him at goalkeeper, he stops shots. Put him at striker, he puts shots on goal. Put him in the middle, he controls the ball. Put him on the back line, he stops defense. It just doesn't matter, right? They're a football player and they're a captain, and that's why I don't think Hendo's the best player in their team, but he's definitely a captain, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he's not on the field, we see they're just not the same team, and that's what you want. You want a player that, even if he's not even having his best day, he gives you something, and that's what they got. That's what they got.
And we have Hector Bellerin. We can put him up front, and he can still defend for us up front. Right, Tony?
He stops our
anyway,
shot.
I digress. That was the last game for Arsenal. Great comment here from Darren. I loved him when he first signed with us. He was great when he played for us. Right? You can emphasize that. Now is the time for us to focus on the team we have now. And this is a deal that is good for all parties. Mesut Ozil is going to go and get acquainted to life back in Turkey in Fenerbahce. And good luck to him. Tony said, Stan, maybe he'll be thrown in prison with the rest of the political prisoners in Turkey. Ignores that they exist when they see how lazy it is. Okay. Going controversial there, Tony. Stan, anyone remember Stepanos? Yeah. AD, we were 11 points ahead in mid-January in 2015-16, and we bottled it. We only lost 2 games, Gary, but a lot of draws in there. Cazorla injury was the real reason we lost the title, and Cazorla had a great partnership in midfield with forget the player's name now. Help me out. He's now playing in Spain with Villarreal, right? Coquelin. He had a great midfield partnership with Coquelin, and we were going great guns. He got actually injured in the West Brom game. Okay. Bascan sounds as deluded Arsenal fans were when Ozil arrived at Arsenal. And that's part of the journey as a fan, Sam. You have to go through that journey with a new signing, and we've experienced it. We've experienced it with Ozil.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, he's a big. Like I said, he was our first big name signing since we moved to the Emirates. So of course, with that comes a lot of fan hysteria and things like that. That's fine. And of course, we were all gassed. He signed for Arsenal, big name like Ozil, and that. So unfortunately, things didn't work out, did they? But the thing is now, fans are younger fans. They're very different now. They seem to follow players, the big name players, the brands more than clubs. Many of them, they follow the players around. They follow the Neymars, the Ronaldos, the Messis. The big names, they follow them around, and not so much the club. So you'll be interested to see Arsenal's Twitter account now, how many followers they're going to lose. Probably lose quite a few thousand now when Ozil's gone. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. That's the way football's become. But yeah, it's a story of. What is it? It's a story of ups and downs, isn't it? He had a decent start, a nice start to his career, and he got to a point where it just sort of broke, and that's it. It went downhill from there. And instead of sorting out his career, which he should have done 2 years ago, he's basically spent 2 years doing very little, and not great for him, is it?
Really taking the life of London, and that's I've said before, that's part of the attraction is London. It's a great city to live in. You can attract players there, but sometimes they want to stay a little bit longer than you need them to. Canberg said, Fenerbahce is a very different club. All players who wear the jersey of that team, and this is a very vital part, and can carry that load, become legendary. Ozil, when he was given the responsibility, he was given an improved contract. paid a lot of money. He didn't up his levels, and you pay him a lot of money, you expect him to produce performances, and it just never happened, my hero, right?
It goes back to, in general, if you're talking, if you're at work and you're expecting your wage to be raised like sufficiently or significantly, would you not up your game? You would up your game and put in an extra shift in things that don't even involve you to show your management that, listen, yeah, I want to be involved. And if that means I have to dig my heels in for as long as I can, you will have to show and prove your worth in order for you to get that bump in your contract. And it goes back to this. You perform for 1 or 2 years. I mean, I loved seeing him at his peak. And then the decline happened, and then it was just like injury after injury. He's missing for all the big games when we need him. And it's just a real shame. I mean, it has to end this way, but yeah, we have to move on if we want to get to the levels where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be competing for titles and even going for in the Champions League. But unfortunately, even at this moment in time, the players aren't there. Like, we've got a few talents, young talents, but you need also established heads, such as the Aubameyangs and the Lacazettes, to be going all guns blazing, basically. You understand?
Yeah. Stan said, just seeing a picture of him makes my piss boil. And so, I did do this. I did do the thumbnail today. So,
But also, like you guys said, you also, I mean, it didn't help that season, when we, like that Leicester season. I mean, the team didn't have a lot of tools around him. Giroud, who basically just went off a cliff after Christmas. And and who did we have to put in? Was it Sonogo or something like that? I can't even remember now. It was
Welbeck.
It was it Welbeck? I mean, Welbeck. I mean, come on, that's your backup striker. Ozil, he tried his best, and the tools just weren't there. And that's down to the recruitment team and Wenger and the club, as you guys say. This club has for so many years sold us short, by not bringing in the amount of players and the right players, and it's terrible. And that's what's held us back for so long now. And, we've gone in the wrong direction. And if we would have had a decent striker to rotate with Giroud, so when Giroud stopped scoring, another striker, another striker at a decent level who could rotate with Giroud. So after Christmas, when Giroud would stop scoring goals, this other striker could come in and maybe start scoring goals. And in midfield as well, at midfield, get to score some goals, create some stuff. But he was basically doing a lot by himself. I know Ramsey started to help later on. Ramsey became a very, very good player for us as well before we had to go. And the club again was in a terrible situation. Let Ramsey go, who was arguably our best player at that time, most influential player. Then we realise Sanchez is going, and then so Ozil is in the position where he goes, right, I know you guys can't get rid of me because everyone will melt down, so how much money you got? And that's basically, he could just bend us over and do us from behind, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that Sam said there that I kind of, that everybody knows. I mean, he created a lot of chances for Arsenal. In those early years, one of the best in the world. We, like you said, we just didn't have anybody that could finish, and that that goes back to the same thing. It's all on. It's not a one-way street. It's not all Ozil by himself creating the situation. He needed some support. He didn't get the support. I mean, it's like look at it. Emery needed certain players. They didn't get it for him. He failed. Ozil needed certain players around him to make him look good. We didn't have them. He fails, right? But they're not.
What else you want?
What?
We had Lacazette and Aubameyang, and you didn't do anything with him. What else do you want?
That was later. That was later.
You're talking about right now.
I was talking about the Leicester season. I was talking about the Leicester season. That's why I just want to say to Stan. Listen, I didn't like Ozil. I was just talking about the first 2 to 3 seasons when he was performing quite well and doing quite well. It was a shame. I'm saying for the sake of the club that we didn't have the tools around him to sort of build on what he gave us to enable us to win things. I'm not saying it's all, down to Ozil, but he had some help around him, which didn't really happen.
Yeah.
You saw the players who were a bit short squad-wise. And then later on, of course, we saw, he couldn't really cut it, and his attitude changed and he couldn't give us what he wanted. And then I agree, he became terrible and, he shouldn't have been in the team. And I agree completely. He was dropped and not registered with all that. I agree completely. He gave us nothing. And he should have gone earlier, of course. I'm not trying to back Ozil in any way. I'm just saying when Ozil was actually doing something for Arsenal, which he did for the first 2 to 3 seasons, it was a shame. It was a shame he didn't have other tools around him to help us win something.
Yeah, a defensive mid. When it comes to even strikers, I believe at that time, 1 or 2 years, we were being linked to like Benzema and Edouard even from Celtic back then already. I think it was a few years ago, not too long ago. At around that time when just before Aubameyang and before Lacazette was signed to Arsenal, to our beloved club. I mean, geez, imagine the possibilities. Like if there was an actual striker to back up Giroud, poached.
Mahir. Like Camberg said here, those who criticize Mesut Ozil should know this first. Statistically better than Iniesta and Xavi. He also played with somebody you might know, Cristiano Ronaldo, who was not too bad at his profession, right, Alonso?
Yeah. So, I remember watching those Clasico games with Real Madrid and Barcelona. And that's how we hear from him as Ozil was those games, and I remember that year, I think Eddie Villar was also in Real Madrid on loan. And, Mesut Ozil was on fire with Real Madrid. I mean, everything when he touched the ball would magically appear on Ronaldo or Benzema or he was against feet, and they would score. So he found those natural passes, but it just didn't happen for Arsenal, and he had more talented players at Real Madrid than he had at Arsenal. So, I mean, it could have come out better than we would have hoped. But, at the end of the day, we gotta be thankful for the things he did do here at Arsenal while he was here. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let me catch up in the comments. Are flying through here. Ray Anderson, remember how we should have won by 5 goals against 5-1 at home when we drew. We went away to Atletico and dominated, lost by 1 goal. He was scapegoated. Is this the Atletico Madrid semi-final we're talking about? Ozil also clearly wasn't able to adapt to the modern number 10 position. I think he was the biggest failing, I'm going to say, was on Arsene Wenger. First of all, he ingratiated everything that Ozil wanted to do. He put him above all of the other players. He would keep him out. Stan feels a lot worse about Ozil than I do. We all know that. But I'm remembering now, Wenger would keep Ozil on the field for the whole game, and he would have terrible games. And other players like Ramsey would be taken off. So, just saying, if you don't perform on the field,
I think Stan's got a very selective memory as well, to be honest, because in the first couple of seasons he did have several good games. I can remember he had good games against Manchester United. He had good games against Napoli. He had a fantastic game against Napoli in the Champions League. He was our standout player. I mean, it's just not right to not give him any credit for playing well at all the first couple of seasons. That's being very, very, very hard on him. But listen, from that point onwards and what he'd done since, first of all, the whole contract thing, the 350k thing, and from then onwards, yes, absolutely appalling what he did to the club. Basically, the way he He just milked us for everything we have to use his situation, leverage his situation, and then when he realised he wasn't needed anymore, surplus of requirements, just hanging around to milk that money. Yes, absolutely not good, and that's what's turned us all against him. But to say he never did anything or never played well it's just, I mean, that's the sentiment I get from you. That's just not right. It's just not correct.
He had Sanchez. He did nothing without him.
Very true. Voice of reason, Gary. You want to jump in?
I mean, voice of reason. I don't know if I'm any. I mean, like I said, I think he did well, but at towards the end, I mean, you look at his career, and he did 4 years, right? In Germany, 4 years in Spain, and 8 years in. Essentially, it should be 8 years here, but he just hasn't been on the books, so it doesn't count. But he would be 8 years here with us, and I think for each 4 year stint he did was pretty good, except for this last 4, and maybe that's just we got the worst 4 years of his career, because he did great. Like I said, part of it's on Ozil, part of it's on Arsenal. They most teams. I mean, Sanchez somehow was able to get out of his contract, right, and it was a lot more expensive than ours, right? So it's something to be said about that. I mean, he is a player with a skill set, and if you have a team that could utilize him, you do that. And I always said, well, if we can't sell him for the entire amount that's on his his weekly salary, we can sell him for a part of that, because we can't use him, right? What's worse than spending $350 a week when you can't use it at all? When you could say, what about you just paid $200 so you got $150 to do something else better with it, right? At least you're not wasting your money. And we eventually ended up just wasting $350 a week. I mean, that's kind of where we got to, and that's on the team. The team had a resource they could not use and didn't know how to better themselves and get that resource out of there. That's what they had a player they could use, and that's on Arsenal. That's not on Ozil.
Yeah, I guess we should roll into the mismanagement of the club and roll that into what happened here. And as Gary has foreshadowed here a little bit, you pay a player, man, here. You pay him in 2018. The lion's share of the money. Alexis Sanchez was getting 350,000 a week. He goes to Manchester United in the end, gets 500,000, and Sam was right. It was a public relations exercise, and Ozil has the club where he wants it, negotiations, and he gets that big contract. And ever since 2018, we've been on the slide. 2018, we finished 6th on 63 points, and famously under Unai Emery, it was a very, very difficult relationship that Ozil had with Unai Emery. We finished 5th, just missing out, as we know, on top 4 on 70 points. And then last season, a really, really bad season for Arsenal, 8th place on 56 points.
From what I've read at the moment, market value of Ozil right now is 4 million. So we bought him for was it a transfer record at the time for an Arsenal player?
42. It was 42. A record at the time.
And now he's worth 4 million. It just says everything that I don't even need to say. Aside from the fact that, guys, we have paid in wages. So in all, with wages, we've paid about 140 million for Ozil's time at Arsenal. Just think about that. 140 plus million. My guys, I'm at a loss for words. Sam rightly said, Sam rightly said, you can't criticize what he did when he first came into the club. He was on fire. We loved it. He was one of us. And it's just then when you don't up your levels, when you don't want to improve yourself, then this goes in life also. When you don't want to improve yourself and you just give up on everything, you just saying, right, that's it, game over for me. I'm not going to try and up my levels to get to that, always constantly improving. This is what happens. You go on a decline and right off a cliff, poof, done,
Yeah.
explosion. It's game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in those early years, Sam, he did have Cazorla with him. He had players. He had a Ramsey who was getting better and better at making his timed runs into the box. And
But his
scoring
best
goals.
numbers, his best numbers were arguably, his best numbers were in that season when Giroud fell off a cliff, basically.
Yep.
He had 19 assists like before January. Everyone thought he was going to be a new world record with assists the way he was going, and just all collapsed, didn't it? Giroud lost form and Ozil lost form as well, and that was it. But Ozil, of course, that whole, the way the contract and everything was terrible. But like other guys here say, that's the club's fault as well. The club put themselves into a position where, you're arguably your biggest player, is if you've got rid of Ramsey, Alexis Sanchez is on his way out the door. If they would have got rid of Ozil at the same time, the fan base would have been a meltdown. They would have, it's an untenable position. So they had to keep him, and unfortunately, the club put themselves in that position. And then of course it was terrible of him to keep on milking it when he should have left. That's what he should have done. He should have done the right thing and left to maybe even more than 2 seasons ago when he realised we didn't need him anymore. And just gone on, gone and found football another place like Sanchez did, and that's down to the player and his agent wanting to do that. That's what that's down to. Sanchez said, "Right, I want to play football. Find you somewhere to play football. Let's figure this out." And Ozil just refused to do that. That's why Ozil stayed at the club. I mean, the club wanted to get him out. They lined up suitors who were ready to take him on board and maybe arrange some kind of deal, but he didn't want to go. He just wanted to see he was fine staying, and that is what's turned so many of us against it, because that is just an attitude and a whole way of being that is just not right. It's just completely wrong.
Yeah, a terrible thing, Tony. The worst thing in life is if you have talent but you don't apply yourself and use that talent properly. Like Stan says here, it's about attitude and application. If he had the attitude and application, there's no doubt he would have upped his stats for us, scored more goals, had more assists, and achieved a little bit more. And all he's going to look back at is 4 FA Cups and a hat full of charity shields.
He never evolved enough. He didn't apply himself. Like Wenger said, he should be scoring 10 to 15 goals a season. He never did. He just got assists, and after Sanchez left, he didn't do diddly shit.
Russ said the Premier League was too much for Ozil now. He couldn't adapt his style of play. Looking at the 56 games, Gary, I'll go with you.
Because I'm the
Looking at the 56 games against the top 6, Ozil's stats are 6 goals and 11 assists in 56 games against the top 6. Now, clearly, over the years, did not have the numbers against the top 6.
Yep. I mean that's. I mean, I've talked to you about this multiple times, right? You look at your top players, and they have to make that play, right? They have to make that play, and he's another one of those players for Arsenal who did not. Am I missing another joke again? Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
These guys are like having fun in the private chats, and I miss out every time. But
we're past Christmas now.
But like I've told you multiple times, and I've said it. We've seen it from Leno lately, that they make that play where you're like, okay, that's why, that's what we've been missing. That's what we needed. And we needed him to do that. And he needed to come out of, once again, come out of your shell, whatever expectations you expect out of your teammates. Sometimes you're going to have to do a little bit extra, You're going to have to go over and beyond and help out the team. That's what teammates do, right? So, talk about this all the time, which Arsenal doesn't play the team sometimes, and then you see it with some of the way the players are, right? I mean, You got Bilal Benabache here. Bilal, okay, all right, dude.
Free Mesut Ozil.
It'll be interesting to
free,
see.
right?
How do you guys think he would fare now? I mean, he hasn't played a proper football match for a long, long time. You know, do you think he's still good? I don't think he's. I still don't think he's that good anymore.
I think he will do very well there. I think he will do very well.
Oh yeah, Turkish league is not the. Yeah, I know, but still.
Smashes it there though. Like, let him go and smash it there though. Like,
he still has to work hard though. They're not going to let him just. They're not going to let him just walk around the pitch. You know, he's going to have to work hard and
I believe they will let him do the offensive side of the game. He will not have any defensive responsibilities, I believe. Do you think? Listen, we haven't seen the pictures yet, but when he arrives at the airport, there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of supporters there. You have to understand that.
Of course, he's huge, but they'll still expect him to do something. I'm sure they will.
If he gets out there and he can't even produce a scoring opportunity or take a shot on goal or something like that, then I don't think it's going to be fun for him on the field.
As I say, it's a long time since he's played. I mean, competitive.
But you know what? I know we're talking about Ozil, but this is one of the checks on the box that one of the things on our list that we were would hoping to happen sooner. It happened late, and the team paid for it anyway. So. Yep. But they can move on now, and that's one of the. So we're going to look at all these negative with the Ozil stuff, but he's gone. He's not with Arsenal anymore. He might be in the box seats during the games, texting, but he won't be on the field. Won't be on the practice. Probably won't. Will he be allowed on the practice field? I'm not sure. Is he that kind of a player that's allowed to come back and hang out with the players as they're out practicing? I don't know.
Gary. Invite Santi. Santi is welcome back.
No. We know that. We know that. We definitely know that. But he might not be that type of player to come back and like I said,
this is very true. Yeah. What December said here when Sanchez left, and they did dovetail very well. Ozil and Sanchez worked very well together. He couldn't hide anymore. He was left exposed. He was getting paid the king's ransom, and he was expected to put in. By Arsenal supporters, put in the performances to suit. Now, as we know, we have a couple of players we have one player now that Mahir Aubameyang is getting that money now. He's going to be.
He got into that Mesut Ozil position, didn't he? Again, it was that okay. He was our top goal scorer. Can we let him go?
You got Aubameyang and you got Willian for 2 years, right? 2 more years of that combo. So we'll be.
I think Aubameyang wants to play football, though. I think Aubameyang, if he wants to play football,
we might have one good year, and then the next 2 years of exit plan for Willian and Aubameyang. Based on past history, right? We may see the same thing in 2 years from now when Willian's done, and then the next year when Aubameyang's done. They just we've already done it, so everybody get your take notes because it may happen again. So you shouldn't be surprised, and let's try and do a little bit better this time around if it happens. I mean,
we really need to fire Aubameyang up now because you get the deal. You play for the deal, you get the deal, and sometimes you don't play on the back end. You don't play like you did when you got the deal. You know what I mean?
If Martinelli is healthy, are you saying Aubameyang plays over him?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a player plays for a contract. He gets the contract.
Yeah.
The player doesn't have the same levels after the contract. I've seen it.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying now we can't afford to play players based on how much money they take out of the club every week. Yeah. So we got to play our best 11, and right now our best 11 doesn't include Aubameyang now.
We have seen it. We have seen it, Gary, with Mesut Ozil, the highest paid player at the club, not playing.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. So I say we go with our best 11 when we're healthy. Best 11. He's not part of that right now. When he does come in, if he starts just hitting the back of the net over and over and over again, and he earns his spot, and Martinelli has to sit, or Lacazette has to sit, they sit. Everybody will be happy with it. Nobody will bat an eye, right? If Aubameyang comes in and scores 5 goals in 1 month, guess what? He's probably going to play continually because we know he's a threat. We haven't seen that yet.
What they should do is, until further notice, Aubameyang should sit on the bench and come on as a super sub. I think it would do a world of good if I'm sure you guys would agree with me. Wouldn't it do a world of good right now that he doesn't have
I think as people said, he scored like, 5 or 6 goals in 30 appearances coming off the bench, so it's kind of not something he's familiar with. So that's the only issue we have with that. Either way, he's struggling, so he needs something, whatever that is.
All right. Listen, everybody in the chats are really going hard, so we're going to circle back around to this. We are going to do a lighthearted quiz. It's a real mood changer, right? Go from Mesut Ozil to a quiz, right? But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and circle back around. So I think Sam has to leave in about 24 minutes from now. So I'm going to be the quiz master. Alonso, Gary, Mahir, and Sam will all be taking part. It'll be a quick fire semi-final and then a final, right? And so I'm going to ask Alonso for a number between 1 and 4.
Let's do 4.
You're 4, okay. Gary, number between 1 and 4 and not 4. 1 and 3.
1.
All right, so you're gonna play Alonso, and Mahir's gonna play Sam. So we'll start with Mahir and Sam. It's a back and forth. It's a back and forth. I'm gonna give you the title. I'm gonna give you, and Sam, you're gonna pick one, and then it'll all become clear. And then Mahir's gonna come back with another. Okay. So the first topic is. And you can start off, Sam. First topic is coaches or managers in the Premier League, and it's going to be elimination if you miss one or you can't think of one.
Okay, so
start off, Sam.
What do you want me to do?
You name a coach or a manager in the Premier League.
Okay, we'll go with Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce, okay. Mahir?
Oh, no. I think I'm already scared.
I'm going to go with Jose Mourinho.
Yep.
Jose Mourinho, yeah. I'll go with Hasenhüttl at the Southampton.
God, that's hard.
Mahir?
I'm going with
Arteta. Sam?
He's going for Arteta, okay. I'll go for Lampard.
All right.
I'm going with Jurgen.
Kloppy. Oh, Kloppy, okay. I'll go with Wilder. Chris Wilder.
Oh, Wilder, okay. Allardyce, yep.
I'll go with Potts. No, what's his name? The Pot. Is it Potts? Potts. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah. Graham Potts.
Graham Potts. That's it, Graham Potts. Yeah. Potts. Oh, that's it. Potts. You know what I meant. Graham Potts. Yeah.
I am scared
I'm
now.
going with Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Nuno.
Yep.
Get his replacement.
No.
His replacement.
Well, Hasenhüttl. Sam already said Hasenhüttl.
I already said Hasenhüttl.
I'm going
Sam,
with.
You are through to the final, Sam.
Yes, I win.
All right. Next one up is Alonso versus Gary.
No.
And
no.
it is the next one is ground names of the Premier League.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh.
I know some of those.
I am not good. Okay, go ahead.
Who wants to go first? Alonso, you go first. Pick a ground. You have to name a ground name of the Premier League.
He's gone. That's too much for him.
No, man, it's
Tony, we'll give him a
Towers Park.
second. We'll give him a second to get back in here.
I was
Tony
gonna-
is the
I was
Tony's
gonna lose
in
this
reserve.
one terribly. Oh my!
Tony's the reserve.
Oh my gosh!
super sub. Tony.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Oh, you
6,
said Selhurst Park.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Tony.
Selhurst Park.
Selhurst Park. All right, wait. We'll see if Alonso wants to get in. Alonso, you in this?
Young guy. Yeah.
Oh, you want to start off?
Oh, sorry. What was it? Sorry.
Ground names of the Premier League stadiums.
Okay. I'll go with Old Trafford.
Old Trafford, right? Gary?
Amex.
Amex, yep.
I just heard that. I'm gonna lose this
The
one terribly.
Hawthorns.
What have you got, Alonso?
The Hawthorns.
Hawthorns? Yes, the Hawthorns, correct.
I would say Etihad. What's that?
Yep.
How about? Hold on. The shithole.
Give it the official name. You can use shit if you want, or shite.
Okay. Toilet hole. Oh, that's the Olympic Stadium, West Ham.
All right, the Olympic Stadium.
That's not a shithole.
Sam? Gary?
Emirates. I don't think we said that yet.
Alonso?
Let's go with
Stress.
Chelsea Stadium. Stamford Bridge.
Yep.
I'm not good at this. My mind is blank.
There's lots of teams. There's lots
Huh?
of teams left.
I know. I can't think of the stadium name.
Crystal Palace play.
Huh?
So where does Crystal Palace play?
I don't.
Tony,
I don't like this game.
All right. Alonso's through to the final.
oh, what a final.
We found Gary's pressure. We found Gary's
Yeah, I
kryptonite.
didn't like this game from
It's
the
not
get
easy under
go.
pressure. It's not easy under pressure.
No. All right, Alonso versus Sam in the final. Best of 3. Okay.
Best of 3. Okay.
Yeah. So you're allowed to drop one. I'll do this one. Nationalities of
God.
the Arsenal squad.
Oh my God.
I could have done that one. I think.
Ready, Alonso? You
I
start.
think I could have.
Yeah. I say England.
England. Yes.
Egypt.
Yes.
Ghana.
Yes.
France.
Yes.
How about Spain?
Yep.
Can't
Iceland.
say Turkey anymore.
Iceland.
Oh, you can't. No. What? Really? We're gonna claim that?
Yep.
What?
How about
Ain't going on our phone yet.
Concentrate, Alonso.
Gambia?
Gambia.
Gabon.
Gabon. I'll give it to you.
Sorry.
I'll give it to you. Gabon. You got it. The Gabonese.
He's creating countries.
I'm going to go for Scotland.
Scotland.
Germany?
Yep.
Brazil.
Yep.
We got a bunch of those.
Portugal.
Yes.
Germany.
I said that already.
Terminator was said already.
Oh,
1-0
well, did he?
to-
Okay, fair enough. One down to me then. Okay.
1-0 to Alonso. You need to
Yeah.
get the
Alonso,
next
Alonso.
two, Sam.
Right.
All right. Sam, you start.
93.
Correct.
2017.
Correct.
98.
Correct.
2005.
Yes.
71.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. 2013. No, 2014.
You said 2013. Come on.
No.
Yeah. Okay. 1-1.
Don't count that. Don't count that. Come on.
1-1. All right. This is going to be the killer. You ready? This is the toughest one.
Oh my God.
Where is it? There we go.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Oh my God.
All right.
So,
So,
is he going to give us a player? Is that no? What are we?
this is how the final's going to play out. Sam or Alonso, you have to name a player, and the other person has to name the number.
Ooh, I like
Wow.
that. That's good. That's good.
Okay. I go
Or,
first or Sam?
or should I? No, yeah, you go first, Alonso.
Okay. So,
Name a
Ray,
player.
are you telling us, Ray?
Name
No,
a
you
player.
take the
You
Okay.
said, I think, Alonso, you name a player.
Okay. Rob Holding.
Oh, shit.
Come on, Sam.
Jesus Christ. Is that 19?
No, it's 16, but you will get an opportunity to
Ah.
stymie. You're going to get an opportunity to stymie Alonso. And if
Right.
Alonso misses this one, then we go on. If he gets it right, he's the winner.
Okay.
I think
It's a
I
good
only know
one.
2 players' numbers.
So we're gonna go. So is it the whole first team squad?
Yeah, first team squad.
The first team squad. Okay.
1 through 35.
1 through 35. Okay. So we'll go for Runason then.
I don't know what his number is, so no.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll go for another one then. We'll go for.
How does that work? Iceland worked, but it doesn't work now. How does that work? How did what? I was gonna lose no
Raise
matter
up
what,
those
but I'm just
shenanigans.
saying. If we're gonna, if Iceland works, then how does that not work? I'm just trying to
Raise
figure
up the shenanigan.
All complaints to P.O. Box Quizmaster.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's great. Right, let me think of another one then. We will go for. We'll go for Chambers.
What is Count Chambers' number? Alonso?
Do you know the Sam?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I know it.
I would say 21.
Correct.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well
Damn.
done.
Yo.
Well done. Well done.
Alonso. You're
Thank
the
you.
winner, Alonso.
Thanks.
Well done.
Woo-wee.
Come on, you
Yeah.
better.
Nice one, Alonso. Nice one.
Thanks, guys. Well played, Sam.
Yeah, you too, mate.
Thanks.
It was number 13 for Ray's disallowed.
Listen, that was an impromptu quiz session there.
That's
So,
good. That's good.
all
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Tough when it's under pressure.
Yeah. Completely lost track of the comments, but we'll regain the thread. Okay. All right. Mesut Ozil, Tony is on his way to Fenerbahce. What does this mean for Arsenal moving forward? Let's round out the podcast here. And the next, we're going to get to 90 minutes, Tony, and not much further. The next 14 minutes, we'll close things out here.
Does it mean anything since he was going in June anyway?
That's why I hate asking him questions, Gary. I think we cannot hear you, Gary, for some reason.
Have you muted yourself? He's muted. Oh no, he's not muted. No, you have to go out, come in.
Yeah, go out and go back in, I guess. That was Gary saying goodbye for the moment. Alonso's basking in the glory of winning the quiz. Nice one, Alonso.
Thank you.
All right, so listen, this is a situation with Ozil. It's good for the club and it's good for the player. Mesut Ozil gets to move on and play some football. Arsenal get to move on and make plans for the summer.
It's best for him to get his paycheck.
Alonso, do you think this is going to help us do anything this month?
I hope so. For some reason, Sam has said before, we had the money to spend players. It just doesn't really make sense on why Arsenal is saying, well, we're on a budget. We have no money. We have money in there. It's just dependent on who we get, and we need help right now, especially all these positions like attacking midfielder, all these positions in your field. So there's a hold up, and having an Ozil off the books kind of helps, I guess. But we need someone who wants to be like daring and ruthless in the transfer window. We don't have that right now, so hopefully it will help reduce some funds, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure about 13. The information I had was that number 6, number 12, number 13, and 18 were not assigned numbers yet. So, Gary,
can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I just going to piggyback on basically what Tony said. I mean, this wasn't going to change anything. Worst case scenario, we were going to spend the money anyways, which is what we're doing. So if they were going to make a change, it wouldn't have mattered whether he was here or not, right? So I think
perhaps the best thing is the distraction that he had been becoming in the dressing room and in the club itself.
Yeah, I don't think Teta can handle that type of a situation right now. He's too young of a manager, coach, to have to deal with that. I mean, even seasoned coaches would probably have issues trying to, try to run a team and then have to deal with that, right? Those types of things. Players not even playing, and you got to talk about them every week. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you never defined by the club? That's what gets me. Is how I never.
Sam, we're getting toward the end of the podcast, toward the end of our time talking about Mesut Ozil. So these are definitely last words on Mesut Ozil, I would say.
Yeah. No, I mean it's time to move on, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. This is the club is it doesn't matter. The players come and go. You'll have some legends now and again. But the club is the star, right? The club is the most important thing. The club is the constant in all of this, isn't it? Players come and go. You have some good ones, you have some bad ones, and that's it. Ozil, unfortunately, I think he's going to go down as probably, I don't know, more bad than good, to be honest, because of what he ended up doing. But it's a shame. That's the way it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, not everyone can end up a legend, can they? Very few end up legends. So. That's the way it is, and it frees up. As for all the money we spent on him, it frees up quite a lot to spend on other people, right? I mean, like you say, 350k, which is potentially what he was earning per week. that's at least two very, very good players, that we can bring in for that money. So yeah, so that's it. We move on now, and hopefully we'll bring in some decent players in the summer.
Definitely. So Tony, Melina, thanks for joining us. Your sense of humor on these podcasts got me through lockdown. Tony, stay strong. You got our full support. Legend. You're a legend now. King Tony Turner.
I mean, how many podcasters have their own their bedroom on the bed segment? I mean, there's not that many out there that can actually pull it off.
My confessional from the
Used to be Paulie Yates on the bed, right?
Now we got Tony. I remember that. Yeah.
Now we got Tony on the bed.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the
Tiger. Tony, quick word about Newcastle tomorrow. Let's preview the Newcastle game, FA Cup game. We rotated the team, and it was tough going until we got Emile Smith-Rowe on the pitch.
I don't know why we rotated that much with 5 days rest. It's kind of surprising to rotate that much to me. Need to be playing your better players. Hopefully we go out and get the 3 points tomorrow. And I hate playing on Mondays.
Sam, we're kind of anchored in mid-table now.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we
win. We're not really going to change any league positions. Maybe.
No, it's going to take a streak of games again. And I don't really see that happening with our fixtures. But we're just going to take the points we can. I think we should beat Newcastle. I think we'll be too strong for them. Well, hopefully. We just have to take that win, and then we have to try and build on it with another win. But it's going to be difficult because we're going to be playing some difficult teams now going forward. So it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, Sam, we got Newcastle. I think it's imperative to beat them because I really think the next two games against Southampton are going to be very difficult games away from home. And then we've got Manchester United, who are proving to be a tough nut to crack.
They're a lot better than when we last played them, that's for sure. So it's going to be a whole different game. Yeah.
Gary, how do we see rounding out the month now? Newcastle, we talk about must-win games, but this really is a must-win game. And then Southampton away from home, both in the league and the cup. And if you have a preference for if you're going to get one win from Southampton, which one would you prefer, Gary?
I mean, I don't think we're at a point where we can shag off any win. I think we need wins in every game we play, like I tell you all the time. The one that will hurt the most, I think, right now, if we lose to them in the cup, because we can't come back from that, right? No. We can get something out of games in the future, but we can't come back from that one. And I think, to keep at least to have something for the team to fight for, we can win. Winning cup games will do that for us. So. And maybe that will roll into the league games as well, because we want to keep this. We want to be able to be in positions where we can win pretty much every game we play, and this is one. These are the easier games that we have coming up, right? So we got to try to get the most out of these ones. I'm looking forward. I think if we're healthy, that's the next. It's the big question. If we're healthy, if Tierney's coming back, if Martinelli's coming back. Yeah, Partey gets a start because he's going to need to get games under his belt. I mean, we need him back to be able to play, 60, 70, 90 minutes at some point in the near future if he's ready. Some said he came out and looked good in his last game for the last 20, 30 minutes that he came out for. Some say he didn't look as good. I just think he needs games. So, and we don't have any side games that he can play. He needs to play in all of them. So I would expect him to play in pretty much every game that he's healthy. If he's healthy and ready to go, and they've done what they needed to, he should play. So we need to definitely. We can't go 90 minutes without a goal this time around. Right? So we got to get the
What is your preferred front four? Martinelli in there, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Lacazette up front.
Yep. That's what I think. That is our number one starting front four
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
You know, Aubameyang can deceive someone if he wants to, right, and knock them down. But he hasn't shown that he can do that. So, yeah, he needs to play. He needs to fit into the system, and he's just not there yet. So he's a little behind, I believe. So if Martinelli's healthy, he should be out there.
And
Aubameyang should be able to come off the bench if things are looking stale, right? We need to make those changes sooner than later. You know, I don't know if it ever made sense to bring on Aubameyang and still keep that front four in there and just move things around a little bit. You know, we need to be on the attack, see how that works. But yeah,
is Ryan going to have a watch along, Mr. Arsenal?
yes, yeah, that'll
Alright,
be on
so
tomorrow.
You'll probably be there, and Sam also, right?
Yeah, Sam will be there. Yep, he's confirmed.
Yeah, tomorrow on
right after
Ryan's.
me.
Yeah.
So we'll be there.
What
It
is
all comes down to the
what,
lineup, right? So the game's at what, 3? I think, is it 3
Right.
over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So at 2:30 or 2:00, 2:30 here, we'll be smiling or not smiling, depending on what they depending on what they do. I mean, I wouldn't. Here you go. I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang plays because he wants to get him back into form. Martinelli rests, but either way, Martinelli can't play every game anyway, so that's not an option for us. So
yeah, and we next weekend we have the league game followed very closely on Tuesday by the cup game as well. So things are going to come thick and fast. Fenerbahce fans, good luck with Mesut Ozil. We had a good couple of years with Ozil at Arsenal. He played for the contract. He got a fat contract, and we didn't really see the best of Ozil since then. Partly due to the player and partly due to us not reinforcing around the player. But I do believe he'll do well in Turkey. I really want to get Alonso in on your thoughts for the Newcastle game, Alonso, tomorrow.
I think that they prepared us pretty well. Considering that we had to put it an extra time, I think that we learned from our mistakes, and I think we should just put our best start living up there and
Put our best team out there because
yeah.
we've seen we only have 11 players we can put on the field. We start messing around with that, diluting the strength of the team.
Yeah,
we are not getting results.
I think that the people we called out every week, like Bellerin and Xhaka, they need to start showing up now because this is their downfall. If they don't show up for big games like this, and
yeah,
it's quite amazing how they're still on the team, and it kind of sucks, but that's our own undoing,
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Tony, does anyone believe? Let's get the Assembles question here. Does anyone believe Arsenal could go forward with Ozil in the team? Yes or no? It's possible. It is possible you could go forward with Ozil in the team, but you would have to obviously build the team around him. And we're not in that stage. He's 32 years old. Arteta's come in, and we're building for the future. All right, I think we'll leave it there. I do owe you a song, Tony. I hear Ray promised Tony a song when he came back, so let's hold that over to Thursday night, right?
Ray, you just didn't want to do it. That's all right. We understand. We know.
I need to be warned ahead of time so I can practice.
You were warned when it happened.
I mention it every week, every time I get on.
Ray can't hear us. I think he went mute. I think the line went mute. He's going through a tunnel, right?
Technical difficulties. Thank you, Gary. Gary's my technical coach, so thanks.
Yeah, he can't hear. He can't hear.
Exactly. Russ, thanks for your support. Check out Russ. He's got a YouTube channel as well. And also check out Mahir, Gunded News. He's got a YouTube channel as well. And then finally, check out DWTT. He's got something going as well, right, right, Gary?
Yeah. So after every game, I'll be doing a little synopsis of what I saw and players and stuff that stood out to me. So check that out. Yeah.
I like a couple of things you did there. A little nuanced video. Your 5 and what you saw, Gary. So
Yeah.
a little bit of a different skew on Arsenal, and hopefully you've got 3 portfolios within the channel, right? You got the Cowboys, the Gators, and Arsenal.
Yep. Yeah. So when they're back in season, then I can
Any
talk
one
about them.
any one of them doing any good, Gary?
None of my teams are doing good. None of them. And you know what? Nobody knows what's going on in Oklahoma, so nobody cares.
What about football?
Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
What about football?
Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
How about them Gators?
Oh man, it's been a bad year for me.
Oklahoma's a flyover state, isn't it? You just everyone you just get fuel dumped on you from airplanes. That's
Pretty much.
Hey, one quick question, Sam. One quick question. Do you think?
Yeah, make it a quick one.
Do you think we'll meet Fenerbahce and Mesut Ozil in the Champions League in the next couple of years?
Oh, it's gonna. If we get in the Champions League, we're gonna meet them. It's always like that, isn't it? We always meet our ex-players and they end up scoring and winning. And how many times has it happened? The Premier League. Every dead Arsenal player we meet, they all of a sudden have the game of their lives.
Come back and
score. But we'll have Guendouzi, and Guendouzi will take him out. So then,
Yeah, it would be nice if we had him back, to be honest. Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut it a little bit early. We'll keep a few minutes reserved in the tank. Tony, we'll add it to another podcast. Listen, I think we'll get a win tomorrow against Newcastle. We have to. If we don't, it's going to be a pretty poor end to the month after getting like 3 wins in a row at the beginning of the month. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Tony and Sam up top.
Thanks for having me.
And the boys at the back, Alonso and Gary.
Try to threaten me.
And
Tony.
Tony, I'm not ending the podcast yet. You can say some more things.
I thought Sam had to go.
Yeah, I got to go. So you guys continuing? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
we're done here. We just going to say thanks to Mahir. He did his usual Roadrunner.
Me.
He dropped out of here. Catch us Thursday night. We will. We'll review a 4-2 win for Arsenal against Newcastle.
Yep. Thank you, everybody in the chats. We'll see you on Thursday.
We're out of here. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.
And good luck to Mesut.